Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government of Jordan and the people we serve, allow me to thank Prime Minister Theresa May and her outstanding team for their efforts to give Jordan this timely platform, which builds on a long and ever fruitful partnership between Jordan and the United Kingdom. My appreciation goes to my fellow Jordanian participants, especially the entrepreneurs and the young women and men who came with us through the Crown Prince Foundation in order to represent the views of youth in their local communities. And also to the friends of Jordan, let's remember that we have stood together in many fora over many decades in the service of peace, prosperity, and global stability. I sincerely thank you for being here today as a testament to your commitment to the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan and the values that we share together. Allow me to start with telling you about a recent archaeological discovery in the northeast of Jordan, where the world's oldest piece of bread was found in a stone fireplace. It's around 14,500 years old in a settlement in the area, and that's 4,000 years before the agricultural era had started. It's the oldest known remnants of bread left by our ancestors, representing the kind of determination, the kind of innovation that we have preserved to this day. And as Jordanians, we continue to make bread and we continue to share our bread with others. These traits have become embedded in Jordan's DNA. And this morning, we've heard from partners, we've heard from investors, we've heard from entrepreneurs and businessmen, amazing stories about what they have found their Jordan and their experience to be. We indeed feel that we are at one of the most promising, pivotal points in our history. As you all know, and it was said again and again this morning, Jordan lives in a tough neighborhood. And while our neighborhood that we live in is destiny, what we choose to do with that neighborhood is a matter of sheer will and determination. In this complex and turbulent region, we have chosen to stick to the simple ethos of saying, we do well by doing good for ourselves and for others. If you recall, when 2016 Supporting Syria and the Region conference was held in London, the focus was on how to mitigate the effects of the crisis on the region. For Jordan, that meant 1.3 million Syrians entering Jordan within less than 5 years. The impact on our infrastructure and economy was tremendous. According to the World Bank, our open-door policy towards Syrian refugees was costing Jordan an additional $2.5 billion per year. At the time, His Majesty King Abdullah warned that Jordan had reached a boiling point. Gratefully, many of you came through and helped and provided financial and technical and humanitarian support for Jordan that was badly needed. And in our characteristically resolute, inventive, and constructive way, we in Jordan managed to stabilize our situation and carry on in doing good, serving our citizens and including all refugees in our health in education services, and in the labor market. This brings us to why we are here today and what we hope to achieve. It is now the time for all of us to move forward from crisis management, which we had to do over the past decade, to growth and opportunity realization by working together with old friends and new partners to do good and do well. Our dear friends and partners, first and foremost, Jordan's immediate focus is to stimulate economic growth in order to provide greater opportunities for our citizens in all of the governorates, now and for the future. Moving forward on this mandate has required a number of tough and swift decisions and actions which we had to make. Many of them related to macroeconomic stability, stimulating economic growth, bringing down the cost of energy, and unleashing the tremendous capital potential of Jordan, some of which you have seen today. Since coming to office 8 months ago, my government has worked with Parliament to introduce a fairly stringent set of measures, including eliminating certain subsidies, a reduction in public expenditure, an introduction of a new income tax law that fortifies the country's fiscal foundations. This was not easy at a time of slow economic growth. So in parallel, we also launched a priority action plan focused on improving people's lives, which are centered in 3 main pillars: strengthen the rule of law and governance that people expect for transparency and equal opportunity, to provide better public services, whether in health, education, or water, and to propel economic growth, productivity, and job creation. Within this guiding framework, between January 2018 and February 2019, we have undertaken scores of key reforms, some of which were presented today by Minister Kawar and others, for making sure that business processes and government is transparent and red tape is reduced to an absolute minimum. This covers procurement processes to make sure that they're efficient, transparent, and strengthening Jordan public officials' financial disclosure requirements. This is a standard ahead of all standards in the region of disclosure of public officials' wealth, and encourage women's participation in the workforce. These are just few of the many steps that we have taken. We understand in Jordan that the path to sustainable and equitable economic growth includes aggressively increasing exports and foreign direct investment and enhancing its operational competitiveness. For this, we have worked with the World Bank Group to develop the 5-year reform and growth matrix, which you've all heard about this morning. And we call it a matrix because it's not just objectives. It has a timeline, it has KPIs, it has responsible entities. Every meeting in the cabinet, we review the matrix. How far have we gotten in implementing? And we are indeed ahead of the game, ahead of the timeline we set for ourselves. I can say with confidence that Jordan is now well positioned for investment and growth, whether this is in business process outsourcing, reconstruction efforts in neighboring countries, or export of goods using our exceptional trade agreements with the US, Europe, as well as countries in the region and beyond. You've also heard about the valuable tool of for investment, the Project Pipeline Development Facility. This is done in conjunction with the IFC, EBRD, and other partners in the region. And the aim of it is to prepare a pipeline of projects that are ready for private partnerships, with the financing schemes, with the legal agreements and everything that is needed. This will definitely accelerate the pace of those projects being implemented in Jordan in sectors such as water, health, ICT, tourism, waste management, and transport. You will probably hear much more about all of these sectors today, but allow me now to highlight our proven track record in Jordan's very promising and just barely tapped energy sector. Frequent energy supply disruptions from regional sources taught us the importance of energy diversification and self-reliance. Remarkably, it is in the same decade that we faced the greatest difficulties that we have also made great strides in the right direction. By utilizing our abundant supply of renewable energy, Jordan is very well positioned to take advantage of a future full of emerging opportunities. Now, indeed, we see energy as part of the solution instead of part of the problem, which we had done in the last decade. Indeed, targeted investments in Jordan's energy sector is setting in motion a virtuous cycle in the national economy, bringing down production costs, greening the economy, and allowing businesses, big and small, to become much more competitive. Energy is just one sector that we, together with our international partners, plan to target in order to unlock Jordan's full potential. Many other sectors have the same dynamic potential, and you will be hearing a lot more about them in the upcoming sessions. Importantly, we want to hear from you, because we hope these sessions today are just the beginning of a long-term dialogue and partnership between us. My friends, the past decade, as difficult as it was, did deepen our resilience, perseverance, and growth. My government is fully committed and holds itself accountable to implementing all the reforms that you've heard about today. We've made that public. These reforms are on the government's website. Every Jordanian citizen has access to them and can follow and monitor how well we are doing. We will continue to make bread and share it as we did 14,000 years ago, but also provide privately provided public goods, business services, innovations, and green solutions. That's our ethos. It is in our national DNA by now, and we want all of you to be with us in this exciting journey for the sake of your own business, your own organization, and for the sake of a better world. Thank you very much.